All right. Well, let's see
So
what
we are live on air again.
Yeah.
And hopefully this video turns up somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully not, unless it let me take a look too.
Well, it's on the channel now.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it says we're live here.
But is that an actual live video?
Because I'm looking at it right now.
How are you? Lovely.
Yep. Okay. There it goes.
Ah, yes, there you go. Perfect. So I can share that then. Now.
Joining us, but
what's that?
I don't know if anyone's joining us.
No, no one will. No one cares.
I think people care. The live stream last time.
Oh, God, I forgot to download the FOMI for this as well. Brilliant. Right, let's fill this dead air. Also, get my life sorted because it's just all over the place.
With all of our one viewers who are just me in another tab.
I think it might be me as well, that.
Yeah, that's you and I watching you and I. It sounds about right.
Dear God. Yeah, sounds completely right. But anyway, I'm sure people will come in it, hopefully, if they've notified themselves. And then I can also tweet this once it's out as well. Come on, man.
KJL's here. Hey, guys, he says. Aww.
Hello, hello.
He cares. Who is KJL?
Just about.
KJL, who are you? Tell me more.
Yeah, you speak to KJL for a little bit.
Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up the chat in here so I don't have to toggle. Yeah, I can. Just waiting to see if more folks arrive. Yeah, we have a group here. So I think we can get started, Adnan, unless you're still messing with the settings.
I'm still messing with the settings.
Okay.
I'm trying to get the episode on social feeds.
Well, you told me to fill dead air, and I'm not very verbose, so I'm going to need...
Well, the chat can put you on alert for that. You can respond to them if they have any questions whilst I do this.
The chat doesn't have any questions. Yeah.
Kevin will have a question, I'm sure.
None so far. It's just radio silence.
Of course.
Yep. How many settings are there?
I'm just trying to get the tweet out onto social. And then I need to like sort out other. You can't really like set things up before because of the platform, and you do need to look at a different platform for this. But it's just infuriating. That's why I stick to just pre-recorded stuff so you can send it out and be like, "Hey, look at this! It's all fancy and jazzy and whatnot." So I'm thinking that that should hopefully be sent via Twitter, and then I'm going to send it on Blue Sky as well, which it should go out there. I forgot to tag us, but oh well, that is what it is. Right, so put those out, and then just quickly let me sort out the video titles and stuff and whatnot whilst I'm here.
Wow, it's a real...
Does anyone say anything in the chat?
No. Nothing.
It's just dead air, is it?
It's just dead air. We're not engaged.
Well, you should engage them. Ask them how they are.
Yeah, how are you all? I'm off of straight hours of calls at work, so my brain is fried.
There you go. Making conversation. I'm proud.
So do y'all have working brains today?
Dear. I'm almost ready. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just finishing this up.
Yeah. You know how Twitter has tweets? What does X have?
Yes.
X's?
Just bots.
Just
That's all it has. And infuriating people as well.
Just bots.
God, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, I think that's saved.
Okay, cool.
I think it's saved. Everything is just trying my patience right now. Okay, saved. Perfect. I think I'm all set up now. I think.
Okay, lovely.
So that's that. So let's have a quick look. And everyone's in. Hello, guys. I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here as well, even if you're still here as well, please do like the video as well. It helps support the channel. I hate saying it, but it is one of those things. Quickly, we've got Kevin as well. So, hey, guys, I care. Thank you, Kev. Dog Party, Life Studios here. Life is Strange, never heard of it. Agree as well. KJL, I'm very good now watching you. I appreciate it. And then we have Macaulay 92, what's going on? Webb was laid off. Yes, Webb was laid off, and hence why we are here recording this. So yeah, if you are new here as well, guys, please do drop a subscribe and turn notifications, like video, share your friends, help support the channel, and obviously help support the live stream as it's going on. And we'll try and keep in contact with you whilst we talk about this. So obviously this is Fireside with an A&A. We had actually planned to do it at some point this month, and it's back now. VOD versions will come from this, but at the moment I am backlogged really badly, so the live stream version will be available on YouTube, so you can just go back and watch it whenever you want. But the VOD versions will come, and me and Abby are also planning to send this into a live stream podcast, so it's going to be once a month where we have a bit more structure, because obviously I know it's in the Patreon tier as well, where you can ask questions, but this is kind of dedicated to this piece of news that's just happened. So yeah, basically that's where we're at. So obviously, if you are new here, I'm Adnan. I co-host this podcast with Abby. Abby's here. Hello, Abby.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, now seemed as good a day as any to have this podcast / live stream.
Indeed, yes. So obviously, we are talking about Webb Pickersgill, who was Life is Strange Before the Storm's co-director. He was Life is Strange True Colors' performance director. He was also performance director on Life is Strange Double Exposure, and he was recently the Life is Strange he was the co-dev director on the co-dev service that Deck9 had launched earlier this year. And unfortunately, he has confirmed today on the 31st of July, when we are recording, that he has been laid off from Deck9. And I will, let the words from the horse's mouth speak for itself. Because as you can see here, Abby, what do you say? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's pull up his LinkedIn post.
Indeed. Have we just been removed from the video? I can't actually see if I've...
They said, not your ugly mugs up here.
Oh, so they've actually taken us off there. Oh, wow. What's happened here? So we're actually not on the video anymore. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure that we can pop in and out as a feature.
I think we can.
Oh, there we are. Yep, we are here. Hang on a minute. They've just changed this, by the way, guys, as well, if you're wondering. So let me quickly just see if I can try and pull us up here. I'm here. You're not here. There you are. Perfect. Look at that. Hey. I'm not too sure how small the video is, though. Like the one on the left. There we go. That's better. That'll be a better way of doing it. Oh, that's going to take some getting used to as well for the for the podcast episodes. They've just changed this, and that is crazy. So, Abby, as you can see here, Webb Pickersgill, this was from LinkedIn. This was also the photo. As you can see, a lot of people from the Deck9 motion capture team in the photo. Obviously, if you look front and center, you see Zachary Andrews, who is motion capture director at Deck9 right now. He's the only motion capture director at Deck9 now. Obviously, if you look over there, is my mouse appearing on the screen, Abby?
Yes, it is.
Yes, perfect. So that is Webb Pickersgill there. That is a former Deck9 developer, former performance director on Double Exposure and also True Colors. Obviously, Corwin's there as well. A lot of the key development team that are on the mocap are there. And Webb posted here, as you can see on LinkedIn, he put, "Today is my last day working at Deck9 Games. Very sad the games industry continues to be affected by layoffs, and I'm the latest casualty. I could ramble on about the wonderful projects and list out proud accomplishments, but the thing that got my butt out of the bed in the morning for the past 10 years was my team. All careers have ups and downs, but it was wonderful. But it was this wonderful group of people that made the world go around and made it all worth it. Thank you to Corwin, Canton, Alexis Bloom, Josh Ra, Celia Dufala, Zachary Andrews, Martha Murray, AJ Blair, and the countless wonderful people that have come and gone over the years. And most of all, thanks to Jeff Litchford, who is he's the co-owner of Deck9, I think the chief executive officer there, for giving me this opportunity 10 years ago and the space to grow my leadership abilities. I don't know entirely what's next, but I know it's going to focus on IT/technology direction or management here in the Denver area. Most importantly, I know I'll find somewhere new that will give me that sense of home.
So he's going back to the world.
I know that's too much. I wish I don't know if he really wants to go into it or if he's doing it out of this kind of need to go back into it, because he's a very talented man and he's got like incredible like cinematography experience and, you know, motion capture and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like it's maybe a kind of situation where we have to go back into it for the sake of it. So yeah, that news was broken today, and I am like absolutely devastated reading that news. I hate reporting layoffs as it is. I already had enough with that, with the Don't Know Montreal team being laid off and many key people in there that I knew. But Webb really hurts me a little bit just knowing that as well. I had heard that it could have been a possibility, and like I genuinely like was dreading the day that it was going to happen, and it happened today, and I was like, oh. And I was like, and I didn't really even know how to react at first. It took me a while to even post the message at first. I was like, oh God. So yeah, Abby, what do you think?
I mean, I'm devastated. It's such a loss for fans of Life is Strange, of course, and for fans of Deck Nine's work and of Webb's work, because like you said, he has a fantastic cinematography background, fantastic theatrical background, and I really appreciated his style of mocap. I wanted to work with him one day. Hopefully I'll get to work with him still wherever he goes next. But yeah, and KJL and Life is 2D / Dog Party Guy are saying here, it feels like every important person left Deck 9, even the social media manager via Square Enix.
Yeah.
Were there layoffs today?
No, so it was a social media manager on the North American branch of Square Enix who was laid off recently. They just put a post out there. I don't think they run the Life is Strange Twitter account. I believe that's pretty much Square's London team that will be running that. I imagine they have access to it. They are social media managers and stuff, but I don't think they were necessarily the one person running it. That Twitter account has been very, very quiet though, barring the announcements of the Titan stuff that they just announced recently. And yeah, with Webb as well, like I think like Webb's a big blow because Webb's like one of the last remaining key developers from the Before the Storm team back from that day. You know, Felice Kwan was sacked last year. Zach Garris has left the studio. Webb was one of the key developers, moved into the motion capture side of things and had to do that, and then also has now been laid off. Jonathan Zimmerman is still at the studio. He's like the last remaining kind of like key long-standing member of Deck Nine's OG Life is Strange team. And I think like it's kind of like, I think the writing's on the wall for a lot of things there. I think this news is not something that should kind of be like looked at lightly. You don't just lay off Webb Pickersgill, and you don't just do it as kind of like for the sake of it, because, and this is where the corporate world would come into play. You would lay off other people first rather than letting someone with 10 years of game development experience / development experience at Deck 9 leave first. But with him leaving, it kind of tells you a lot about the landscape of the industry. It tells you why, for example, Microsoft has laid off so many people. It shows why Deck 9's I don't know has been in such a financial constraint and into the development area. And it also shows you where Deck 9's position is right now, which is obviously rife with speculation among many other things. But I think you'll, you know, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I was told I've kind of been in and out of the picture recently because I've had like a really big burnout period and I've not really been doing much. But like when I was speaking to certain people, I was kind of just given the kind of position where it was like basically all hands off, you know, all cards are off tables, essentially. Like, you know, I can't remember the phrases. You know, there was a more eloquent way of putting it, but essentially expect the unexpected. And essentially that's why I've been very cryptic with certain things and not really being open about them or talking about it, because I could say it tomorrow and then next day someone says, oh, actually that's not happened. But it's like the timeline has changed and everything, like on everything and anything now. So like it's just basically in that position right now with the franchise, and with Deck 9 and all the other things as well. It's a lot of moving parts, and that's why I've kind of just been not saying anything, because anything could happen and anything else could turn into milk. And yeah, that's where we're at. I think like we just did our Patreon episode, me and Adam as well, and I need to cut parts of that out as well, because I think KJL asked us about any rumors and stuff, and I'm like, well, I think the stuff that we just like has happened today has kind of happened. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, we can take that out there. But yeah, Like, there's a lot of stuff that's happened, and I think you don't have to be. You just need to look at what's in the public domain. There's a lot of stuff there that will point you in the right dots with what's about to happen.
And now what's going to happen with that co-development service? Is that also going with him? Because he was kind of the key person there.
From where I can stand now, at the moment, yes, it will go with him. Because
so they must not have been actively working on any projects.
No, because you don't lay off your co-development head of service if there was actually any projects, because he's the mediator and the middleman on the projects. Because that's his dedicated role. You basically you had 2 performance directors at Deck 9. You moved the one who was in the key performance director role in terms of like running the studio, everything else, because Webb was the performance director on the games, but he was also the motion capture director at the studio. So he was overseeing the studio. Like, for example, Zach Andrews is in that photo. Zach Andrews was hired because of Webb Pickersgill. Like, Webb was part of that hiring process, because Webb has talked about that on interviews and stuff. But basically, if you take out your co-development service and you take out the head of the co-development service, that means that there's no one running the co-development service, because you can't move the other motion capture director onto it. And the entire point was that Webb was moved onto it so they could kind of lift that service and do it, which again kind of sums up where that's going to be, because they don't have anyone else who can do it. And we did a video on it back in the day, me and Adam, when we were talking about it. It was literally, I said it was like a roll of the dice moment. If it works in the long term, fantastic, the results are going to be there, you can get motion capture and stuff. But if your service has fallen apart round about, was it March or something, it was announced, give or take, and you've just laid off the performance director / co-dev service director who's running it in July, I think it tells you a lot about where that service is, which I think it will probably disappear in a couple of days in terms of on the websites and stuff, because I don't know who's going to be running it then.
That's a real shame, because they never really gave it a chance to start. Like, what, it was 4 months between the time of announcement to now. They never really gave that branch of business time to grow.
Yes and no, because you have to imagine they're probably working on things, but the one thing that is very apparent in the industry at the minute is how difficult every studio is operating at the minute, in terms of layoffs, in terms of the industry development process, and budgets. Budgets are a big one for game development service, because that's the one that always hits me when people are like, I would love Don't Nod to come back to Life is Strange. I'm like, well, first question is how they're going to buy it, because their cash flow, if you ever looked at their cash flow and their earnings, I'm like, it'll paint you a picture. Secondly, Square Enix would have to decide to sell the IP back to Don't Nod, and they don't have to do that. They could sell it to the highest bidder. They might not even want to sell it to them in the first place. They might just shelf it and keep it on the live. And then, for example, if Don't Nod takes over the IP, who runs it? Is it the Canada team? Do you just throw away all the work on Lost Records? Do you reformat teams and bring Life is Strange into it? You have an IP which is corrosively damaged now, because whether it's Deck 9 or Square Enix or Don't Nod, most casual people will associate any of those 3 entities with the franchise. Like, most people, and I will say this quite actually openly, most people outside of the niche that care about the franchise don't know the difference between Deck 9 and Don't Nod. They just think that that's one person making the games, and that's it. They see the Square Enix logo and they like that. Until you become in a fandom, then you start looking at the studios who are making it, the key developers and stuff. Most people don't know that. And I've seen that as well, because I can pretty much point that Luke Bagadust, who is the Don't Know Montreal studio executive producer, said in an interview about Lost Records, he's like, most people don't know who Don't Know is. And it's like, it's true. They don't know. It's this French company. It's like, most people might not even know who they are for that. So basically all those come into play. And then on top of that, and the kind of final point I'm going to make with that is that even if you bring back the Life is Strange IP, the motion capture, the performance direction is so expensive as well, because it's a massive R&D development cost. And then, for example, you saw Don't Nod do motion capture separately compared to with a VO, and you saw, for example, the limitations with Lost Records, where, for example, the audio is out of sync. Like, the facial animations are an issue again. Lip syncing is again an issue in Lost Records. And then on top of that, and one of the things that I think people don't realize which happens, for example, if you take Olivia Lepore, and so for example, we're acting Abby, right? And you take Webb's technique, so Meisner technique, he uses this a lot, right? Acting is reacting. So I say hello to you. You say hello back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah. And it keeps going back and forth. So we keep doing this as a training exercise for Meisner. And then eventually I'm like, I like your hair. And then you're like, I like your hair. So it's repetition and it's repetitive building. So what you're doing is you're building the process of that. So what I'm saying with Lost Records, when Olivia and Andrea are working in a scene, it's fantastic in motion capture because you see the raw, gritty personal experience. But the minute you go into the booth, you've taken away that interaction. So what happens in the dialogue of the game? It's like Andrea's like, oh, skate, I'm a skater. It's amazing. And then there's like a weird pause. And then it's like, it cuts to Swan and she's like, oh, and she responds. So it's not in real time, it's not in person, so you're not capturing it. And
Right.
that's a big problem as well, because performance capture is so important in the industry. Every game more or less uses it now. That it's so important and ingrained it because they want their actors to be on the sets doing the real time, and VO booth is so difficult to kind of do these projects. But yeah, I think with Webb's position and stuff like that, it's just, this is really tragic, I think. And I think I can't see you underplaying this news of how big it is for Deck 9, Life is Strange, everything. He might not have been involved in Life is Strange right now, but like, I think it just tells you, if you lay off a key developer, it's a very, very, very troubling sign at a studio.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like they didn't really give that co-development service even a fair shot, because can't they find investors or other forms of capital raisings? That's a really unique service, and there's a gap in the market. So I'm just surprised that more effort wasn't given to retain it.
Yeah. So the problem. No, it's a fair point as well, because like it's not necessarily the service isn't appealing to people. The thing is, though, is that basically the service works in the sense of, and this is what they were doing at GDC when they were talking and pitching to developers and stuff. It's basically, you could come to me and I'm running the co-development service, and I'm like, cool, we can do the motion capture, we can do the scripting, we can do all this, and you're like, fantastic, this is amazing, you can bring life to my game. And then I'm like, this is our budget for the motion capture, and then you look at it and you're like, we can't afford this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then all hands on deck, and basically you all walk away from the table. So it's not that the fact that the service isn't appealing, because it is very appealing to a lot of studios. It's the R&D, the capital, the expenditure.
No, I will say budgets are really small right now, but there are pools. There are target demographics that maybe they weren't targeting, like game development studios outside of the US are still rolling and doing stuff. So I don't know.
I think the thing is, though, as well, I think that would have been the long-term vision of like reaching out to studios across the world, getting development done for them, etc., like doing that like long-term foundation. But like, even in itself, I'm pretty sure, like when I spoke to Alex when she was making her game, the independent developer, like even she's been struggling to get some grants and stuff in the UK and whatnot. I think off the top of my head, I saw a recent post that she posted something like that. They're trying to get a grant. Like, it is one of those as well. So it's like, even those pools of money, as you said as well, the grants could just like disappear overnight, and you're like screwed, and you're like, okay, we can't do this now. So there's a difficulty with that. So yeah, it's a little bit like, it's a bit crazy on that front. Just quickly checking as well. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that the social justice themes in Deck 9's games particularly led to its downfall in this political climate.
Yeah, it impacts everyone. Any studios now reeling on it, because even you can use the long scale measurement of, like, you can put Deck 9 on that, you can put Don't Know Montreal on it, and you can look at their games. The minute they announce, it's like, it's woke, it's this, it's that. Oh, it's got Sweet Baby Ink in it. All the other narratives start playing into it. And then even on an extreme end, if you go even higher end, AAA, the top tier, in Naughty Dog announces Intergalactic, the first thing, it's woke, it's this, it's that. And basically it impacts you the minute that you do something like that. And it's like, yeah, I think that it does impact. I think it brings the niche down even more. So it's like, it's already a niche, Life is Strange, and the minute those labels get thrown onto it, it becomes an even bigger niche. And unless people are willing to buy it who are already in that niche, then it becomes impactful. Let me just quickly go to the chat as well, Abby, because we've got quite a few people in here and you're watching as well. Thank you for joining us as well. You got 17 people watching. If you are here as well, please do like as well. I can only see one like, but that maybe because I'm not refreshing. So let me quickly look here. Dog Party, I thought they did that whole US date for the anniversary thing anyway. Lena Ren has put, I wonder if this has to if this has to do with how double exposure performed, well, I think this is a whole different animal amid that as well. Dog Park LinkedIn is looking grim, but they do have assigned environment artists, cinematic persons, and etc. KJL is so sad that he's not there anymore. You're telling me, KJL. I'm like devastated. I've not even had time to think of my thoughts here and actually talk about this. Let's have a quick look. Dog Party, when the person heading up the co-dev service is laid off, yeah, it's not good. Agreed. And let's have a quick look here. I'm going to leave you guys to it amid yourselves. You got any questions, please do leave it. If you are watching as well, just feel free to ask a question in there. So yes, and also as well, Abby, this was something that Adam pointed out to me, and I did spot it earlier as well. Webb Pickersgill's birthday was yesterday on the 30th of July, and he confirmed today that he's been laid off from Deck9 on the 31st. And I'm like, that's another kick in the teeth of the video game industry. I'm like, perfect. That's what we needed right now. Just lay him off. You know, maybe just wait till August and do it or something. Like, not that this makes the situation any better, but yeah, there's your parting gift for your birthday. See you later. And it's like, I feel really kind of like, I know if Webb was here in terms of the personality and the kind of person he is, he'd be like, it's for business, it's for the better interest of the studio and stuff. But I do think that Deck9 really needs to hold accountability for this, and especially their CEO and also the key management people, because basically the guy who was already in a secure position running your motion capture studio as it was, you moved him into a co-dev service, an experimental co-dev service. He tried his best and put all his like entire potential into that, and then basically you laid him off from it. And I don't know if anything else explains more of a kick in the teeth than that, which is the fact that you basically the guy who's like been one of your long-standing stewards at of the studio, someone who's been a really respectable figure there, very, very talented. He would and I wish he would sing his own praises in terms of his talent and ability as a motion capture director and as a game developer. You basically laid him off after 5 or 6 months of doing this new service role, and he basically moved into this role because you needed him more than anything else, because no one else could do it. Because if Webb was that kind of stubborn of a person, he could have just turned around and said, I'm not doing this service, and go and find someone else, and the project dies right there and then. But instead he did what he has always done, which is sacrifice his best interest to go and work on another part of the studio, and you decide to lay him off. I'm pretty melting with like a lot of things. I did want to kind of sit down on the weekend and speak to Adam about it, like really digest my thoughts. But yeah, I have not shown my full like anger and frustration and difficulty of this on Twitter and among many other things, because I think it's just very, very poor form from it. And I've spoken to a lot of people in my lifetime, actors, people who are in and involved around this project, on the record, off the record, and I always ask them about Webb Pickersgill, and it's nothing but praise. And it's always nothing but he is a really, 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 and I'm going to do this in the most British way, sound bloke, that he's just really nice, he's really helpful, he will always give you an ear, never a problematic person. And this is when you speak to people off the record and they're willing to say all kinds of things to you that, like, you know, I've had this conversation with people before and they ask me about, like, you know, oh, but maybe they don't want to say it to you. No, people become very transparent with things when you do talk to them about it. And not a single person ever said a bad thing about this guy. And I think it's testament. And I repeatedly said on Strange Cast many times that if Deck9 had more people like Webb Pickersgill in the studio in key positions, they would not find themselves in the position that they're in right now, because that's where they're at right now. That studio is on the verge of collapsing, in my opinion. Where it's at right now, it is on the verge of collapsing. Look at how many developers are there. Look at who's left there. Look at what projects are on there. And you look at the state of it and you're like, yeah, it's heading one direction at this point. And unless it's thrown, you know, a life got like one of those things that you throw in the, what is it? Like a life? No, it's not life preserver. What is it? You throw in what's that?
A buoy?
Yeah, one of those. You throw that in the water, save someone. If you don't throw that in them, it's game over at this point. And I say that in the most like somber kind of tone, because I will say as well repeatedly, and I've said this before, Life is Strange existing is very, very important in this industry, and especially, for example, for studios like Don't Nod, because Lost Records receives more momentum boost because of Life is Strange existing and people knowing about it. And when a studio closes down, you shelf an IP there's only so long Don't Nod can hold on to its reputation as the creators of Life is Strange, because eventually it'll fade into obscurity, and that's a horrible thing to happen. So yeah.
Square Enix also needs to take accountability, because many of the decisions that led to the downfall of the franchise are kind of on Square Enix.
Well,
sorry,
yeah,
that isn't right.
no, it's true, and not many people are willing to say that, but it's like, yeah, of course it is. It's 100% on them. I personally pin it on them, because Deck 9 has its own faults, it has its own issues. But I've said this before, Deck 9's a contractor, and when someone owns the IP and they own the and they run everything with it, they can do whatever they want with it. And I've said this before, when people are like, "Oh, well, give the keys back to Don't Nod, let Don't Nod work on the IP." I'm like, what under Square Enix? What if Square Enix turns around to Michelle and says, Michelle comes up with a pitch and he's like, "Hey, I want to do this game with Chris Erickson. I think it's really cool." And he's pitched out the entire thing, and they're like, "No, we don't like Chris Erickson. We don't want that." And then he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll do it with Daniel Diaz." And he's like, "No, Life is Strange 2 didn't really sell that well. And we don't really like the idea of doing it with another male character. Do it with Max." And he's like, "I don't want to go back to Max." And they're like, "Do it with Max. What are you going to do then?"
Yeah,
and I
like
think that's the one
expert says something, and then the CEO who doesn't know anything is like, "No, I don't like that."
Exactly, but what can you do though? And that you've worked in corporate America, and I've worked in all kinds of jobs, and this is one thing that what's that?
Said sadly.
But like, you've worked in jobs where you work under someone or whatever else with it, and it's the one infuriating argument I always have with people when they're like, "Oh, well, this would happen." This, I'm like, sorry, are we forgetting about the elephant in the room here? I'm like, how can you like think this is so easy that like someone's just going to come in and make their own vision and shape the franchise? Like, once a franchise is established, it makes its own pathway. And look at what Square's done with it. And the biggest example I can point to is look at the logo. Look at Life is Strange's logo and the evolution of that over time. And like as Christian Devine said to me on Twitter, the remastered font that they use. Look at the first Life is Strange logo and compare it to the current one now. It looks so soulless. It looks like a Starbucks, poor Starbucks style logo. And it's like, you just see that it's so artificially made, and like there's no love from that franchise in terms of in the corporate like facade that it has. It's just like, as you will.
Yeah, let's take a look at the chat.
Yes, we are. So I'm going to go back into here.
Okay, I'll let you start from the top.
Oh, do you want to go? You can read it out if you want.
Well, there's some discussion here about whether Webb could go to Don't Nod.
I would love that.
Like, yeah, I mean, that would be the dream, but it seems like they only hire local from Canada.
Guys, I'm saying this to now. My dream is one day seeing the main man, Mr. Webb Pickersgill, in a photo with Luke Bagadost, Michelle Coe, and Erica Mori as the lead actress. Oh my god, my head would explode at that point. I'd be like, this game is going to be so cooked. It's unbelievable. So like, that's my dream. I would love for Webb to work at like Don't Nod Montreal. I think he would fit in so good for them as well. I think Oscar Gilbert should be watching this podcast right now. I know he does in his room in his France office.
Who else is watching right now?
Who?
Webb Pickersgill himself.
Is he? No, yeah. Oh wow, he is there. Woo! We love you, Webb. I love you. Webb's put there. Hello, everyone. Thanks for the kind words, Adnan and Abby. Just got here a few minutes ago. I adore you, Webb. I really adore you. I hope you go and work at Don't Nod Montreal. They would love to have you there. I can put a word in. No, I wish you'd work there. And the motion capture would like it's that thing where I love Philip Bark's direction and the VO directing and stuff like that. But like even Don't Nod, like I just wish Don't Nod had finances to kind of like uplift a motion capture studio, ground up like a proper one, and then put this man in charge of it. And imagine like that's the one thing missing from like Don't Nod's repertoire is the motion capture that is done on Life is Strange with Deck 9, because
sure, and it's serviceable.
Yeah, and of course it has. And even Don't Nod has done that with Don't Nod Montreal's done that. Look at the way that the Lost Records characters are designed. Like that entire Edward Kaplan Sundance-esque drawing style is gone because they have to reformat for the modern age as well. And that doesn't take away from Sam Bradley. He's incredible. I love his art as well. And the way that they've designed that team, that's what it is. And you can easily take those characters and make them mocap and full performance capture. And that's where it just thrives with it. And I think that's what I want to see with like this. And it's like, it's the industry. It's so hard. Like I actually funnily enough as well, I saw something on Twitter where someone was saying like the Life is Strange, doing the stuff that's been announced by Titan as well. It's like, I think it's a Welcome to Caledon University book and also a Rosie 4 novel that's just been announced. And someone just responded saying, I'd love to buy these, but the economy. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just so expensive, man.
And the other elephant in the room is the use of AI for motion capture, which I think a lot of companies, especially smaller indie companies, are switching to.
Yeah, and that's horrible as well, because that's going to impact both actors, motion capture, everything else of it. I think like it could help the motion capture process.
It just looks bad. It doesn't look the same as a theatrical setting where, you know, people are in the space and interacting, and it doesn't have that same fluidity. So I don't know. I guess quality is just going to go down and down.
Yeah, it will, because you can't. Ashley Birch did that in that interview when I watched it. It was amazing when she was talking about it. She was like, an actor can't have. She's like, Chloe Price can't have visceral reaction if it isn't from an actor, because she's like, an AI could play Chloe Price, but it's how the actor is approaching that performance. So, for example, if you think about the scene when she acts the Rachel Amber's discovery of her body, that is from a visceral emotion of trauma that she has herself from losing her former partner, and then also connecting with that into the story, and that's what you get the performance. AI can't do that. It can't feel things. It can't do it. It's going to manufacture something, and that's the problem. So it's like with Double Exposure, for example, and even True Colors, where Pickersgill is doing performance direction, he is evoking a reaction from his actors. So when you're seeing those performances, Jed's confrontation with Alex, the motion capture director is sitting there with the actors and leading that and getting the reaction out of it. And that's why the performance it comes across like that. So you need someone to really guide, handhold this entire performance and then take it from there. Because like in itself, let's just again reestablish this. The man that has just been laid off from Deck 9 basically made Hannah Tell deliver the best performance of her entire career. And she carried a game single-handedly for a studio. And I think like her performance as Max in Life is Strange 1 is obviously amazing. I love that. But from an acting perspective, not even a single question in my mind that this performance is Hannah's best in the game. And I'm someone who will criticize Double Exposure. I'm talking from a pure acting standpoint. What Hannah Tell did, that is a testament to Hannah Tell and then also the performance direction on this game. And this is the issue. So this is another thing I think we talked about as well. And obviously Zach Andrews is a very, very talented motion capture director, very talented. And obviously, you know, you don't work at Deck 9 unless Webb Pickersgill very much speaks to you and is like, this guy's going to do really well. And Zach did an amazing job on obviously The Expanse, but Zach's repertoire is not Life is Strange. And I think you talked about the fact that you can see when Webb is doing something as a motion capture project and he's shooting something, and then you look at where The Expanse is, and The Expanse is tonally dark. It's meant to be more kind of like serious in its like approach. It's done in this kind of way. And then even Life is Strange, the Deck 9 direction of Life is Strange, it comes across in a respectful way, a bit slapstick sometimes, a bit musical, a bit kind of like, you know, that awkward kind of like cringe sense.
Yeah. And that's the directorial style, I think.
Yeah. So it's like the minute that you make the next Life is Strange and you have Zach Andrews in the performance capture chair, it's going to look completely different because it's two different philosophies. It's really that you have to, and I say that from the perspective of like having dug into the performance direction, the mocap, the acting, everything about it. I can see, for example, when Webb is working with an actor and he's either effortlessly working with an actor or he's yanking something out of them because he's like really trying to pull out the performance from them. And it's just from if you look at just the character and the way that they're acting in the scene, for me, that's quite obvious where it's like the performance director has to really pivot the style. It's like the change in the approach of it. And I could see it every time I ever watched his work. It was like, you could see how True Colors came out, which was amazing. And Erica Mori got a BAFTA nomination. Han Soto got a BAFTA nomination. They were both nominated for the Game Awards. And then the other performance direction project that he did, Hannah Tell was nominated for a Game Awards and was sacrilegiously not nominated for BAFTA. Even if she didn't win it, she should have been nominated for it. And had the story been a lot better for that game, had a lot of other things in the development team happen on that, she would have won something, or she would have like at least got a major honor from it because the performance was excellent from it. And again, that's the one thing that actually I think kind of like to really make the key point on this. The motion capture on Life is Strange was the constant. That was the one thing people came to the games and no one really batted an eye at the Deck 9 iterations, at least, like from True Colors and Double Exposure. It was the one thing you necessarily couldn't really fault. Even the soundtracks, Double Exposure and True Colors have one or two little things here and there you can make, but the soundtracks were great. But the soundtrack and the motion capture were the two constants on Life is Strange. Even the last game, I never saw someone say, oh, Webb Pickersgill made like a pig's dinner or this kind of thing of the scene. It was like, no one ever questioned the performance direction on it. And I was like, well, rightfully so, because it's not in the hands of the performance director at that point. The writing, if the writing is the state of what it is, that is on the writer's responsibility. And it's just a shame that we ended up here in this position. And I just like, I just feel so like annoyed and frustrated by this news, because it's just not what was needed. Deck 9 has like put itself in this position, and it really has like put itself in this position. And I think that's in the sense of both mistakes and then also the climate, because I don't think they've adapted to the climate of what the game industry needed. They should really have like tapped into co-development service back in 2021 when they started making True Colors and got it out. It was like, this is where we really go forward with it. We've just got another performance director, and we have two performance directors. Let's really roll this out and get some momentum with it. And it's in the industry when people were making a lot of games and the budgets were fine, and yada yada yada. But yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, the zeitgeist was captured a little too late. And I want to point out what Lena Renee, I think her name was, said. What she said, yes. AI is only good for scenes that require no emotional nuance, which are few and far between in narrative adventure games, which is so true. And I understand that not every studio who makes narrative adventure games has the budget for mocap in the same way that Life is Strange does, but it really does make the difference when you're trying to convey that truth.
No, you're right. It does. It really does. Because like you can't. I would say Webb would probably say this as well. Same with Philip Bark. Anyone who's worked on the Life is Strange voiceovers, the motion capture and stuff, you can't elicit any reaction from an AI machine in a certain scene. You have to tap into the actor. You have to put them in a place where they're acting from that responsibility. Like no AI is going to do what Gonzalo Martin did in Life is Strange 2. And the only way it's going to happen is if Philip Bark tells him he's like a quote, like in a paraphrasing where you're a petulant child, you should go and sleep on the street and actually like live a day for an experience and see what your actual character's going through. And then it yields the results when your actor goes on to win a BAFTA. And in the category where he's up against Norman Reedus and Laura Bailey and among many other big names as well. And he comes out and absolutely takes that category apart. And most people wouldn't give him a cat's chance in hell for it. That's what happens. So it's completely that as well. Like AI can be used in motion capture and like their tech stuff and stuff, but it's only to help them. It's to help facilitate things. It's not to eliminate the actor or the motion capture director or the tech man. It's going to be something where you can help do something to support the acting process, but it's not something you can actually like just like roll out and be like, oh, that's going to be a fantastic way of doing things. And this is why we end up in the results that we do. But I just think that the climate is really, really bad at the moment for a lot of studios. And I think Deck 9 is facing that as well. And then it's just not Deck 9 as well. I think like people should be really like, I'm very frightful of Life is Strange, of Deck 9, of Don't Nod Montreal, of Lost Records, because the industry is so different right now. Trends have changed, people have changed. Even Life is Strange fans, you'd probably say that a lot of them are obviously millennial fans and they're in their 30s. What happens when people are in their 30s usually? They get married, they have kids, they don't play games as much, they forget about franchises, they become legacy franchises. When it's ultra niche as it is already, that's already impactful for you. So it's like with Life is Strange, the fan base has just dwindled over years and years and years. And what they did with the recent one with Double Exposure, they tried to target a Gen Z audience with like a lot of themes. It didn't work. They aggravated your millennial audience and they just like abandoned the series in a lot of ways. And it's like fantastic. And I think this is the thing where Don't Nod has not really tapped into that. They had a massive Life is Strange audience and a lot of people have no idea Lost Records exists. I'll be genuine about that. The game saturation of the market is so much. And even Don't Nod says this as well. Every time Don't Nod says it in reports, like the game saturation is wild. And I think that's when it's so easy to have a surface level conversation about anything that's happening at Don't Nod, at Deck 9 or any other studio. And I think when you get into the in-development processes of what's happening at the studios, it's quite frightening to see how like the developers are working and what they're working under and the constraints and the contracts and the publishers and everything else with it. It's no easy task. And I think obviously it shows as well, like, you know, Square Enix is bankrolling Deck 9's Life is Strange games and they're paying for that studio. That studio is not cheap. It's just not cheap. And that's like I imagine like they would want an even bigger motion capture studio, Deck9, like more facilities and stuff like that. But like they have an in-house motion capture studio that's been built there, and not many studios even have that. They go and hire out places. I just did my interview with Andrea, and she even talks about the fact that, and she says it again, like when they did their recordings in the Montreal motion capture studio. I can't remember what's the studio called now. I think I've got it here. Game on Post. I think they did it in Canada. It's like they hired that facility out, and it's like you're paying for it. So it's like,
but they brought
chop. It's like
correct. They didn't use contracted like directors or.
No, so I mean, well, Philip Bark was a contractor. He doesn't work at Donald, so they're paying for that as well. So you're paying for the guy who is like a I think it's Los Angeles based.
Yeah, because I would think someone really close, especially a former developer, you would want someone close to the game to be the director to not have that disconnect. But
well, that's why the Philip Bark in there, because obviously Philip Bark worked on Life is Strange 1 and 2 with them, so he's very familiar with them, and he came into the project later. So he's come into the project, is working on them with it, but like he's like that familiar face, because otherwise they'll have to find a new director to do it, and there's no familiarity. So it's like Michelle might be there, Mary might be there, Luke will be there in the motion capture, the voiceover, but they're not necessarily, doing something there. Like they're not leading the sessions essentially. They're just there and helping support it. But when you're hiring out the studio, it's like chop, come on, let's go. And this is what happened with Square. Square had it with Life is Strange 1. It was like, get in the booth, get out the booth, get in the booth, get out the booth. And they kept jumping actors in and out because you're recording, get out. Instead, when Deck9 has its own facilities, it's like, process. Let's get the development period done. We got a studio now. We don't have to worry about the finance. That obviously Deck9's financing that, but you still have to be like, we own the studio. We're not under constraints here, specifically in terms of paying for something as a renting service. And we can just go from there, and you have a bit more kind of like flexibility with it. But yeah, I think like it's quite somber, the entire situation.
Take a look at chat. It's getting a little saucy.
Oh, we've got in here. So let's have a quick look here. So I'm gonna grab here. Oh, I'm gonna have a quick look. Is that Webb's thing there? Yes. Webb's the game industry right now is absolutely brutal. It's not a fault of Deck9. At the end of the day, industry is evolving and it's chasing the money. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Yokes, Webb, I appreciate what you have done while you're at Deck9 and look forward to what you do next. And then Blue Jay Samurai, I remember what grifter's name, I won't mention that, who told people not to buy the game like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Lost Records Boom Rage, but they went on and bought them. Yeah, it's not surprising. And Bulldoze says, oh yeah, the market's absolutely brutal. It's like Webb is so on point with that. Like in itself as well, I think someone pointed out in the chat, Supermassive Games went through a layoff recently, has just gone through a layoff, and Supermassive Games is known for making horror games, and horror games are one of the most appealing things for people. Yeah, of course it is. It's massive. Like they just announced a Hellraiser game. Saber Interactive are doing a Hellraiser game. That blew my mind. I was like, hang on a minute. I was dreaming wet dreams when I was a young kid, hoping for a Hellraiser game. And it's like, we just got one now. It's a single player Hellraiser game. Like, this is amazing. But I can see why they're doing it, because that's the industry trend. Get a horror game. Queso is going to stream it, or some other person is going to stream it. Jack Skepticai and like PewDiePie and a lot of people who followed Life is Strange and did those streams don't do that anymore. So Life is Strange struggles to get the wider appeal of like people streaming it, people who are prolific in the industry. Like the streamer genre's changed.
Did stream Life is Strange?
Yeah.
Or Jacksepticeye, one of them?
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them were the key part of that. Like they were both like, I remember when streamed it was like, and they were part of the, because they were the big streamers at that point as well. Like it's now that's a trend that's changed. Like who's the big streamer now? Like, is it anyone who's going to play Life is Strange? No. So that impacts the market. And is Queso going to play Life is Strange? Like he's not really going to do it unless he's doing it in a goofy kind of way, like in a joking kind of sense. And it's like he's going to focus on more on horror games, and a lot of the small niche horror games that are being made in Japan are getting massive exposure for things now at the minute in the market, because people are streaming those. Because it's like, oh, we can do like reactions, and it's like scary and it's spooky and it's like really rustic and charming and stuff like that. And it's like leaving things in kind of like the dead wood a little bit. Same with like Lost Records. Like Lost Records being a very slow build in the first tape is an immediate turn off for a streamer. Like they're not going to do it though. And that's why things change as well. It's like when people do like podcasts and they do like doing the intro clips, it's like 3 minutes of montage, because they want people to get hooked into it and then start listening to it. Because if it's a slow burner, people will click off it.
I mean, that's the case with marketing for anything. The trends change, but influencer marketing could have been utilized more like just getting influencers hyped around, the vibe of the game.
Well, they tried it.
Well, but clearly not successfully.
But it's the streamers that were doing it. So I think if you go and look at the they had like a press event for Double Exposure, and they invited people down like London, and they played it and did a preview event, did the videos, and some quote unquote big prolific influencers, but again, niche prolific influencers. They're not the Jacksepticeye.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, why do you need streamers? Why not just draw in, like LGBTQ influencers or other general influencers, cozy influencers,
Well, that was that report from IGN saying where Square Enix's stance was on things, allegedly, very much from IGN's position. Square Enix denied those things, but I mean, like, that's again the problem, because like in itself, that's another thing. Because it's like when you said before that it has the kind of like the LGBT, the kind of woke narrative affected it. If you go fully down that route, then it alienates you even more, because then you go ultra niche. You appeal to one core audience, and then other people don't buy it, and that's again like another issue of it. So basically, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in the industry at the minute. And it's like you see it like constant cycle, layoff hit, and you see like one or two games have a success story, but Balatro, Expedition 33, and it's like, but they're rare anomalies in a situation where it's like this has happened. So it's like Deck 9 is now currently on its knees, with what's next, and it's like I think like this is a sign where things go from here, and it's like it's just a horrible kind of position you put yourself in. Not necessarily just on Deck 9's position. It's just more about the general industry's things. I know Webb is again in the chat, but it's like I'll say this as well. Webb's too nice to admit where I feel like he's been hard done, and it's my words. I feel like he's been hard done by this position, because he shouldn't have been like let go in this position, because he already took a sacrifice by moving from motion capture performance director's chair to the co-dev service chair, and he's now being, the sword has fallen on his neck, and it's not fair in that sense. But this is where we're at with the industry. It's just a really, really horrible industry at the minute, and it's like just not that kind of thing.
Yeah, lots of talented people falling on their own swords.
A lot of talented people, and that happens. A lot of talented people. I'm just quickly going in here as well some comments. Dog Party put as well. I've liked the first episode of BTS, which was why I adapted the first part of the Game Boy demo at one point. KJ, I like BTS. It has faults, but every game has, which is true. DJ Howard is here. Hello, DJ Howard. Thought at one point that Square Enix might have purchased Deck 9, but don't know what D9's future holds for them, which, would have been the dream. I think like a lot of studios try and do that, like big publishers try and do that in the end, where they buy a studio and they like get them to do it. I think like the dream would have been for Square Enix was for Don't Nod and Deck 9 to rotate and make the games and keep it consistent, very much like Call of Duty has been for many years for Activision. Treyarch on one, Sledgehammer on the other, Raven Software, wherever they kept changing now recently, but there was one point where it's literally an Infinity Treyarch combo of games where you basically get them every year. Call of Duty, I think that's probably what Square Enix wanted, but again, you can't really have much say over Don't Nod because it's an independent company. And then also with Deck 9 as well, Deck 9 is an independent company, so it's like if Square can buy it, then they'll have to buy it. But it's like, do you want to take it even more of a bigger risk on that, because that's an investment in itself, because you buy Deck 9 and everything goes get tits up, and you've just made a massive investment in one studio. And again, that's also on the studio owner to sell it as well, because like Jeff runs that, co-owns it. So it's like, is he going to sell it? And at that time, you might not want to, it's one of those decisions where you're like, actually, the studio's up, we're going to look at other projects. And also, you get stuck with one studio. So then you have an overarching publisher who runs it. You're at the mercy of them. They can do whatever they want. You can't go and pursue other projects. And I think Deck 9 wanted that same autonomy as Don't Nod, where it's like we can just work with other publishers, contracts, exchange, make games, etc.
Yep.
So that's that. So let's have a quick look here. Oh, I'm going for it. Oh, never mind. Yep. What's that?
Interesting comment from Boldo.
Oh, we got here. So let me have a quick look. So Blue Jay Samurai says, don't forget Jazz Guns. She also plays Life is Strange games as well. Yeah, okay, Jazz, but I actually got Life is Strange via from Miniminter from Cyber. That's interesting. Not know that, but fair enough. Kevin Kester says, hello all, these layoffs sucks. They do. Blue Jay has said the last Life is Strange game, Brazil? What the hell is that word? Yeah, that's the word. Not down with the kids anymore. I had played was Life is Strange True Colors, and that was it.
Dog Party
streamer.
Agreed. Yeah, probably as a streamer.
Of course, everyone agrees with me. That's what
just
like if I said like Webb. Yeah, I would put Webb Pickersgill as the president of the United States right now, and everyone would agree with me as well. So I could do that. I'd install him there and be like, there we go. The world is healing. What's build up here? Well, this is a new generation of players who didn't grow up with narrative games like Telltale games, and I think Life is Strange was out nowadays. It will not be a big hit, which, yes, that point makes sense because one of the key examples of this, and I've used this many times, Emma Vicelli, the Life is Strange comic book writer who wrote the Max and Chloe Rachel story, the one that had the 6 volumes, yeah? Emma is now 44 years old, right? She did that art for many...
Emma Vicelli.
Well, I love Emma Vicelli. I like, if I could frame a picture here on the wall, it would be Emma Vicelli, Webb Pickersgill, Luke Bagados, Michelle, Johnny Galvatron, and Adam, and you. That would be my photo frame. That would be like my dream. Like, yeah. But like, well, wow. But no, like, so basically, Emma's like 44, right? So she's 44 now. Think about it. 10 years ago, when Life is Strange came out, she was 34 years old. So she was a peak. She's in the millennial era. She loves those games. She's been playing them. She is now where she's at in her age. And then look at the next set of Life is Strange comics that came out. Zoe Forogo did it. Zoe is, I think, in her 20s now. She's just done the recent Life is Strange Forget Me Not. It's just one volume that they've done on it. She's in her 20s. And think about 10 years ago, she was in her teenage years playing Life is Strange. So again, it's a new demographic completely. So she sees Life is Strange completely different from what Emma Vicelli sees it. And it's the same with anyone else as well. So when people look at the Telltale games now, they look at it thinking that's dated. That's not the kind of thing that I want to play. It was a very millennial era coded game. Telltale games as games. And that came out the same period as Life is Strange, The Council, other episodic games all came out in that period. And that's where we're at. So basically, it's very difficult because it's like it shows with double exposure. John Stauder worked on Telltale games, and it proved one thing for me in the position that if you work on a Telltale game, it doesn't mean you can work on a Life is Strange game, because whilst they're stylistically similar in certain qualities, they're very different. And it depends on the publisher you're working with, what the genre of the game is, etc., etc. That all comes into play with it. So this is the issue that we have with like the millennial audience. Like, audiences have changed. My niece plays Roblox. My niece is late generation alpha, and she plays Roblox. I was like, I've heard of Roblox, but I've never really like seen it. I'm like, what is it? And I like looked up. I was like, oh, like, is that what the modern gamer is doing now? Are they playing Fortnite? Are they playing something else? Are they watching a streamer play some niche horror game and then doing it themselves, or are they just watching them play and not doing it themselves? Do they have the attention span for this anymore?
Yeah.
Big questions you have about. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So yes. Ooh, we've got some more people in here. Yes, we have. Oh, has Webb gone? Webb has gone. Oh, I have to bounce. I appreciate you guys. What's that? Yeah.
That's why I said say goodbye to him, because he's leaving.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I was going for a thing. Well, Webb, I hope you're still here. If you see me, I wish you the best. Take care. It was amazing seeing you. And yeah, that's just, it's a shame that everything that happened there. Let's a quick look here as well. So we got Amy Lucio saying hello to you too. Dog Pies, but I couldn't have been surprised by the other layoffs, but this was one. This one was a quote unquote what really moment, just baffling. Yep, it's very baffling. I think it tells you where things are going from here. So let's have a look here. Blue Jays put, to me, I think since Don't Nod is away from Square Enix, I think they'll be around and will probably invest money from other studios like Tiny Ball and maybe Capcom. I don't know. Maybe come on side in a minute. Dog Party, I hope you get something you want to do and soon. Webb, best wishes. Well, all the best from Webb, from KJL as well. Love it. Amy's put here, you might laugh, but I was scared the first time I saw Life is Strange. I mean, it is scary. I mean, you've seen...
I was also scared the first time I saw Life is Strange, but now I realize it was a sense of uncanny valley.
Probably, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, this is also the same Abby who was like, "I'm scared of playing at Lost Records at night because it's like I live in the forest." And I'm like a living forever infamy in that little podcast. That no, well, it is a little bit scary. Thing obviously Michelle's like a big influence from Stephen King and like Sam Lake and David Lynch and stuff, and like there's like kind of like he does bleed into the psychological things at the moment. Life is Strange does have a bit of uncanny valley, but like Max is neurodivergence. Let's not play too much into that trait, the uncanny valley. But yeah, no, it is an interesting position to be in. It is a bit of a freaky game to start with. It has like a lot of mysterious mystiques about it and stuff. Bulldog put here as well. One was one of the YouTubers who was still who still take the time to play slow games and analyze things is Casticism.
Yeah,
your interpretation
like
of that.
Because we're old.
Yeah. She did a great playthrough of Life is Strange 2, for example. Dog Party's put as well. I want to know what's going on with this prose story from Emma. I nearly asked her today. I'm kind of keen to do that myself. Life is Strange. Like, why is Emma not talking about this? It's like we need to hear her talk about this prose novel, or the prose story. Actually, sorry, that's what you're pointing at. Amy says specifically the bathroom sequence scared her.
Fair.
Which is interesting. I mean, a lot of stuff does happen there. It's literally like it goes from 1 to 100 very quickly. So that's like makes sense. Also, Blue Jays finger here as well about the investment. I don't think Donut's not necessarily in the best position, like in terms of financially. Well, because like those games are too niche. Like the investment from Tiny Bull and Studio Tolima, which are doing really nice games. Those are the kind of games you make and publish and float when you have extra cash flow. So you basically establish yourself as a proper studio. Let me rephrase that because the proper studio comes across back. When you've established yourself as I was trying to say when you've established yourself as a studio with a core audience and a loyal retaining audience, like Naughty Dog or Kojima Productions or something, where you can basically you have brand pulling power just by your name alone. And that's when you do those niche games. So you basically fund them because you have the extra money. We'll do them. We can publish them. We can get a bit of experience. But those things aren't going to move the needle at Donut because Donut's finances are in absolutely catastrophic state, in my opinion, at the minute, because I think the company isn't projected to become profitable till 2029, I think, at the minute, when I did my last investment thesis on it, which is, if you think about it now, it's 4 years away. And I'm kind of sitting there thinking like, oh dear. And they've written down assets for 2 of their games, Jusant and Banishers. Lost Records, quote unquote, sold in line with sales expectations, but was that good or bad? Where does that determine it? Banishers, The Lonesome Guild comes out this year. That's not a needle mover in a respectful way. Koira came out. Not many people talked about that. It was a nice game, but it's not, again, a needle mover. So it's like, they're not going to do that. And Capcom as well. Capcom isn't going to, like, Capcom's last game with Donut was Remember Me. And that put Donut in a very financially precarious situation when it was first done as well. That was the first game Donut ever made. So I don't think the Capcom's going to do it. Donut's trying to find publishers to work with. That's in itself mission, because the last publisher it worked with, Focus, the games didn't necessarily translate into major success stories, did they? They were just like, okay. Like, they were like, Vampire did well. It still appears in royalties. That's good. But Banishers flopped commercially, and that's a shame because it was critically acclaimed by a lot of people. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's have a quick look here, Abby, where we're going in here. So Blue Jays plot, I'm 19 years old. You're 19? Jeez, God, I feel so old. But I understand my generation not into these kind of games. Yeah, spawn. Let's have a look there. Dog High's plot, I imagine she probably doesn't know she's swamped with that musical. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that musical. I can't wait for it to do that musical. I'd love to go and see it live as well. Oh, I adore Emma Vicelli. She's the best. Which I didn't bother her. I might bother her though. She might take a time out of the busy musical to speak about it. Kevin Kestis here. I mean, Adnan, just curious what that tan poster. I thought it might have been Final Fantasy 16 cloth map, which I think will be alluding to that. I imagine then.
Yeah.
That's the God of War map. From 2018's God of War Collector's Edition. Because if you look there, there's the Kratos card that's there, the postcard. I've never really set this room up properly as I should have done. There's loads of stuff. If you ever if you ever look at the old podcast, basically this desk layout was switched because the desk used to be over there and this back wall used to be here. And this is like my own, this is like my massive prayer to Kojima on the wall, because I've got 3 Metal Gear posters, massive ones on the wall behind the screen. So it's like that's mainly it. But yeah, I think that's the Gears of War flag there. So that's the Gears of War flag that I got from the Gears of War 3. It's like the COG brand. These are Yoji Shinkawa Metal Gear arts that were in the Metal Gear 5 strategy guide. There's Emma Vicelli's signed works that she did for the comics. They were from Forbidden Planet. There's Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 Returns. I think it was like the holographic graphic. That's the COG certificate thing that came with this Gears of War 3 thing. Obviously, you got the Joker behind me. There's a map of Horizon behind me. There's a lot of little tributes from a friend on the left there, and those little drawings. And there's an Alakazam there. There's a lot of other things. There's more stuff I could probably put up, but I could probably put up more stuff, but I just can't. But I just don't find the time to do anything nowadays. So that's one of the things that's there. So yes, that's that. Let's have a quick look here. So Dog Pipes, what is it? The Zelda one? No, we'll just blend that then. Bulldoze Port, don't need a Claire Obscure. Yes, they do. They really do. The French are making great games. Claire Obscure was like also a French project. There's something going, as Adam says, there's something going on in the wine there. And I think like Don't Nod is like one step away from hopefully making that. Blue Jay Boldo at Boldo agreed, but their games also sold niche as well. Harmony, so many underrated games. There's so many underrated games, but again, just so niche. It's like they just need to kind of get them like, you know, into a wider audience. That's the thing with Don't Nod. Like some of the games just they need to make like niche and then 2 major games and like pivot off that, because you need to kind of get to audiences where people will play games and buy them and then go from there. So that's that. Yes, so that's the position we're in. So yes, we're with the position with Life is Strange, with Deck 9, with Webb Pickersgill. Abby, are we still seeing Life is Strange Double Exposure sequel?
I think they have to because of the way they ended Double Exposure. I think it just looks stupid to say Max Caulfield will return and like to make this whole big thing of it. To literally market the game with that premise and then just be like, nah, just kidding.
Do you know what? The worst part is as well, like one of those like reflection periods when you look back on something, you think that was a really dumb decision, and maybe we shouldn't have done that. That was a dumb decision because like it was because like even itself, like they could have still done a sequel if they were really that desperate. They could have done the sequel, but the fact that you had to like put it on screen in such a really cringe, horrible MCU style way. You basically set your like it was like, you know, every moment in Double Exposure, it's like, okay, we can try and pivot from here. We can try and pivot from here. And that card is there, and I'm like, great. And it reminds me of when I think it was I know Joss Whedon's got his own like, you know, a lot of drama around him, but I think he watched when he was making Iron Man. I think it was Iron Man 3. I think he was making one of them. He basically didn't know like the thing that had changed with Tony Stark, with his like heart thing for Iron Man. And he watched, I think it was Avengers of like Infinity War, whichever one it was. Can't really remember the story, but basically he watched it and he's like, oh shit. He's like, because like his film's like, hang on a minute. He's like, Iron Man isn't Iron Man still Iron Man. It's like in my film, so it feels like there was a bit of an overlap. So with this game, it's like when Max Caulfield returns, I'm like, dear Lord, like God help us all with that. Yeah, it's for me, it's. Again, I can't do that thing where I say what I know, because it's one of those where everything has changed from that. My truthful position at the minute, is, do I expect to see it? Yes. But I could also say that you never see it, because you can't rule out the realm of the possibility where the developer just basically cans the entire game. It could be made and they just scrap it completely. And we were talking about this on podcast where you were saying that, why would they do that? It's like, you'd already take a financial hit anyway with the game being made, but then you think about, you have to put it into production, you have to make the discs, you have to try and market it, you have to put more money towards a project that you know is going to be doomed. And even if you put it out there, the returns aren't going to cover the costs that you're already spending extra on. So it could truly be a situation where the game gets made, Square picks up the thing and it's like, no, we're not going to post this out there. And it's like, done.
Yeah, no, I still stand by the fact that I think that they'll make it. Not the fact, the opinion that I'll see it again. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm like half reading the chat too.
No, I fully agree. No, it's fair. I think I'm still in the position where we will see it.
Yeah.
I think it tells you the quality of the game and
Yeah.
where it's at, the direction, and one thing that shows as well very quickly, if you look at some of the stuff that's been announced, the Titan the Titan Welcome to Caledon University book, the prose novel and stuff. These are the kind of things that you get shown at focus group, because the focus group that recently happened, they show a timeline of things and people weren't really that impressed. Some of the comments that I saw from like one or two stragglers here and there. And that basically, because it shows you that there was a timeline of events of things that they were building out. So they were building out from here, and you can't just pivot in a year after the game's commercially flopped, because you basically spend years and years planning out a direction for this game, the next entry, what you were going to do, and that's gone tits up. And basically, that's why Double Exposure sequel is how are you going to pivot from it? You can pivot slightly from it, but it's an unwinnable project. And from what I remember as well, Double Exposure was already an unwinnable project because a lot of people felt that, and it turned out to be an unwinnable project. It was basically labeled as that. A lot of people were just like, no, this is not going to work, and it came to fruition. And you saw it with some of the comments that came out afterwards, like Mallory Littleton, Bilal, etc. And they were like, they had their kind of like one or two messages, and it was like, no, that's not going to cut. That's not going to cut it with a lot of people. People aren't going to buy this, and that's when the game ends up the way it does. Do we see a sequel? Yes, I think so at the moment, but again, I can't rule out the possibility that it just never turns up at this point, because Webb Pickersgill going from Deck 9 is a very clear sign of a studio which has just lost a key developer. And then also as well, like, when we see the game, and it's the death knell in the franchise for me, because there's no coming back from it.
Well, also remember, they can always hire him back, first of all, as a full-time employee or as a contractor. That's not unheard of. But I think in terms of the sequel, like, that's probably done and dusted at this point. It's been over a year since Double Exposure was announced. So I think like the changes that they can make with that are very limited at this point. So we'll see what we end up with.
Yeah, they're very limited. You can't change whole scripts and stories and designs. And obviously, for me, it looks like they're probably going to reuse assets, obviously, because from other Life is Strange games, and then also Caledon University. The way the game ends, you can literally start from Caledon University, so you've got assets there built. It wouldn't surprise me if they try and use old assets that were scrapped from the game. There were old assets in the game they could use if they wanted to. That's their choice.
Place at Caledon. They'll just build different rooms.
Jesus Christ almighty. I think they're trying, the way the game was making out is like they're trying to set off, go back Arcade Bay, and I'm like, Jesus Christ almighty. This game was so easy to win from. And I say that in the sense that I didn't want it in the first place, but like there was an easy path to win this project. And it's like, just there was one thing that I remember getting told, and it was like how you put Chloe Price in the game. And when I got told, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. I was like, that's actually a really easy way of working Chloe Price into this game. And you solve one of the massive, it's like it's one of the biggest elephants in the room. It's like, oh, that's actually really easy. It's like, yeah, we solved that issue. I don't know how you do this. I really don't know how you do this. I've seen some people try and build off that third timeline of Polaroids in the game. I'm like, just behave. It's like, stop it. No one's building a story off of a Polaroid timeline. What have we got? Oh,
well, yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm scrolling. I'm just seeing how much is left here. I'm starting at I met Tessa a few months ago, 538 message.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so this is from GR1 Mess. But hi, I met Tessa a few months ago in Karlsruhe, and we talked like an hour after a concert, and we also talked a little bit about DE and the controversy. She told me the writers put much love into it. She can tell. What do you think?
I think that's the girl who's looking out for her career.
I love Tessa Rose Jackson. Rose Jackson's a real vibe. Well, I think with Tessa Rose Jackson, what you said about that in terms of like, I imagine if you spoke to anyone, let me put this a better way, people aren't oblivious to what's happened here. Anyone who's involved in this project, they're not obviously tone deaf about things. They know the reception of this game and whatnot and stuff like that. And I think it's quite telling about, like, no one's interviewed Life is Strange actors from Double Exposure really in a prolific amount since it's come out. I think it tells you a lot about things. So I think it paints you a picture about where the project was at and what's happening. Dog Pie put, if she sequels are a diminishing return, I don't want to think low. So I don't want to think how low that would sink for DE2. It would sink very far. KJL responds to Grimes saying, well, she wouldn't even throw them under the bus. Dog Pie put sales wise. Then I think she was honest. That's the thing. So like the thing is though as well, like you have to remember, like Tessa Rose Jackson is only seeing what she's seeing on surface value. Like her involvement is the music process. She's not someone that's there as like a loyal hardcore Life is Strange fan. She's coming in through with feel for music as a contractor, making the music, and she's only seeing what they're doing, which is that they were putting love into the characters they felt as well. Whether you agree with the Deck 9 team that were working the writing process, that's a different story. Like, you know, I think the verdict is quite clear out. I think like they would argue that they did put a lot of love into the game, into the story. Obviously, you've seen the story. Yeah, and the story has like obviously, as you can see, it's changed quite a lot. Like I imagine the original vision was completely different from what we got in the end. So it's like maybe it was completely different from where she was seeing and what they were saying. So that is that. So wait, hang on a minute. So Boulder put all the sequel that nobody wants will be a visual novel on a smartphone, visuals made with a generative AI. Imagine. Leonard put what's that?
It sounds awful.
It does. We got 30 people watching. That's amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. So I got here as well. Leonard's put, I wish they were bold enough to just abandon DE and do something new. Life is Strange. The problem, but again, Leonard, this is the problem because Abby's just said that as well. You've literally boxed yourself into a corner. Had that end screen not been there, perfect. Because you could literally be like, let's U-turn, let's pivot, let's bring back Alex Chen, let's do something different, let's start with a new character. You have an opportunity there. But with what they've done there, you can't do it. You literally box yourself into a corner. You cannot end a game where it says Max Caulfield will return and then spawn a new iteration where you play as like Abby as the main character. Like imagine that. It'll be like, wait a minute, what? I thought Max Caulfield was going to return. This blonde-haired girl has now turned up in the
No,
place.
it's me.
Yeah. I'm the real Max. So yeah, I think like that's that. I would love a game with Alyssa as the main character.
Yeah.
That's Day's best character. Like that's why I don't turn up to Day signings when she does her streams. Like she doesn't have enough Alyssa prints. I would get a framed photo of Alyssa here if Day was willing to put it on her stream lease. I would get it signed by her and put it there. And it'd be like it'd change every week to a new Alyssa photo. She's the GOAT of the characters. So let's have a look here. KJL puts Grimes. I can see that. Kevin Kestis put Adam recommended the Artful Scape. It's 60% off on Nintendo Switch right now. Yes, there you go. There's Mr. Galvatron getting a mention as well. And I'm gonna quick look in here. What's that going on here? I just lost the chat. There it is. Does anyone else ask a question here? Boulders put, or just abandon the IP and create a new narrative game. IP who will have on its shoulders the heavy heritage of Life is Strange IP. Well, isn't Lost Records that? Essentially, from a different studio and brand, and it has not cut through. Like the IP is just stagnated, and the audiences have changed, and it's not really appealed to a new audience. The problem is with Life is Strange. Another key problem is that the gameplay hasn't evolved. It is really, really dated now. Like it needed that investment to change the gameplay experience. It's so dated now, and I think like Lost Records was refreshing in terms of the video. Because the videotape play, the camcorder was a refreshing experience, but even that needed a bit more, impetus to kind of like add to it.
So it needs a little bit more oomph. Yeah.
Yes, you need a little bit.
Something extra. Even Lost Records had a couple of mechanics that weren't quite just like walking and talking.
Yes, I completely agree. It kind of was held up on that as well. It just really stuck on that, and it's like that's great if you are a developer again that is established and has a big following and people will buy your games as it is, but you're trying to try and attract new people, and it's like that's the difficulty. Like a lot of people aren't going to be sticking around for that. People's attention spans like flies nowadays. So there's that. Let me quick look in here. Blue Jays put as well. If you notice that a lot of us in the Gen Z generation are playing games like COD, GTA and Fortnite, yeah. I mean, like those are the games that are going for it. People, and also as well, games are expensive. People are just buying the games that they want to. They don't want to buy games that are, like Life is Strange Double Exposure being charged at a AAA price premium. And that is like wild to me. Like that was like $80 for the Ultimate. I warned you. There's a bloody Strange Cast episode saying we're not buying it for a reason. We were warning you not to buy that, because I remember getting told by someone saying, do not buy this. I was like, okay. And I saw people buying it. I was like, well, there you go. Hashtag Secrets of Kaladin. And you like got spoiled within. That was the worst hash. By the way, can we talk about that? That was the worst hashtag trend in the history of all video games, because it was like, yeah, let's do this on Twitter because no one gets spoiled. And then bang, 2 weeks in, people were data mining the game. They were like putting it on TikTok. You couldn't even avoid it. You go on YouTube or TikTok or something, and it'd be like that in an opinion that's like, oh, there you go. There's the Photoshop photo, and it's like, great. There's the reveal, the twist that happens at the end of episode 2. It's like, Jesus Christ Almighty. Let's have a look here. Boulder put Life is Strange will be back in Power Wash Simulator 2. Mark my words, it's definitely going to go in there. It's going to be in the pachinko machine at some point. Get to Konami, I'll be in there. Dude has come in. Hello, Dude, and put, what is happening? That's a big question, Abby. A lot of things are happening, aren't they?
Many a thing.
Many things. GR1 mess. I'm going to call you Gramess. I'm going to call you. Yeah, that was my fault. She probably was on the surface on the whole DE drama. That would also explain the incredible soundtrack besides the awful writing. Yeah, she's just not involved in it. Like that's again, it's like the same with like Webb. They're all individually in components. That's the thing. Like it was like a group assignment and everyone was in a separate room. And then it's like when you get that one person that comes in and it's like, did you do the assignment? It's like, no. And then other people are like, yes, but I did it really badly. It's like that. So she was like just on the outskirts of things. She was doing her soundtrack, which she did a good job with as well. Like I enjoyed that soundtrack. There's some actual underrated tracks on there as well, I think.
Awesome.
We'll listen back on it. From a very guitar standpoint as well. And again, what a shame with a full performance capture studio. Hannah Teller's not performing a song in motion capture.
I know. Oh, what a wasted opportunity.
People would have eaten that up. You could have literally wasted so much time in the game just playing on songs and doing the Last of Us Part 2 Ellie style guitar kind of sequences. People would have eaten it up all day long. So a quick look in there. Is there any more questions in here or messages? Bolo, the only thing that I missed in Lost Records is a big final choice. Yeah, again, that's an interesting one. Again, it's just that's like a dated formula within Life is Strange now, where it's like you saw the last game as well, accept or refuse, and it's like, what does that mean? Like, what's happening here? And it's like, it didn't really change anything. And it's like, oh, okay. And Safi's gone. And it's like, what? That was something. And then, let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, Grammars there. Look at that, Abby. Grammars as support. I regret buying the shitty $80 Euro version with 2 minutes of cat content. Well, now you can pay. Exactly. Now you can pay $60 for the Life is Strange collection. 2 games on the disc, the rest are all in digital codes, and you also get the cat content in there now. So you can pay $60. Oh yeah, the Life is Strange collection is a bit weird though. That it's like it's all the mainline entries. Obviously, Captain Spirit isn't on there because it's still on the PlayStation storefront. And then on the disc, there's only 2 of the games, so Double Exposure and True Colors are on it. And then all the rest are digital codes. It's not got the original Life is Strange in it. It's not got Before the Storm in it. It's got Before the Storm remastered and Life is Strange remastered in it. So you don't get the actual original Life is Strange versions of that. And it's got all the DLC pre-order bonuses and everything else included in it. It's $60. And I'm like, and there's no other incentive. The cover looks horrible. It looks okay. Horrible. And then on top of that as well, it has no other goodies in it. It has like nothing else of it. It has like no, I don't even know if it has like a reversible cover or anything like that. It's just like, oh, okay. It's like we're not giving anything like a little like a sticker or something. I'll take a sticker or Power Wash Simulator code or something. Give me something like that in there. I'll take that all day long. So that's that. And then where else are we up to? Anyone else in here? Any more comments we got in here? Blue Jay Samurai put, I was about 10 years old when I seen Life is Strange, and now being 19, it's going to be sad to that Life is Strange, and a lot of the episodic games are going to possibly come to an end. Yeah, it's pretty much it feels like the end of the era there. Tech Gadget T Geek has put, thanks for the games. Feel sorry about layoffs.
We do too.
That's an interesting way of putting that. It's a very interesting way of putting that. Right. Bowler's Pot. Oh God, I just remember the TV show stuff. And yes, yes.
Yeah.
Don't you dare say Dimitri M. Johnson is going to say. Can't say that serious. I'm gonna try that again. Dimitri M. Johnson is going to save this franchise. You're all watching this now. I'm telling you right now. I don't refer to him as Dimitri or even Johnson. I refer to him as his full name, Dimitri M. Johnson, formerly of DJ2 Entertainment. I think it's his Story Kitchen, the company's name now. He will save this franchise, Abby. I'm telling you this right now. Dimitri M. Johnson is going to save it. Webb Pickersgill could be the showrunner. Get him involved.
Yeah.
There we go. Bang.
Let's go, Dimitri.
Yes, there we go. See, there you go. I'm excited for that TV show. I can't wait for it.
Yeah. Trying to find casting info. I'll let you all know when I figure it out.
Who you getting casted as?
Probably Chloe, the one I look the most like.
Oh, you could be Victoria.
Or Rachel.
Yeah, but she's dead. You'll basically in a body bag.
No, that's fine. Laura Palmer's dead.
That'll be. Yeah, but Laura Palmer gets actual shots in the game. You're gonna be just like a piece of cloth in the ground.
Just a piece of cloth. They'll just like put my face in the middle like a green screen. Yeah.
And the credits says Abby Nissenbaum, brackets Rachel Amber, piece of cloth. That's where your payday has come from.
Clothes. Not piece of clothing, piece of cloth.
Oh God, I'm not looking forward to that Life is Strange.
Maxwell returned in the TV show. That's what they meant, says KJL. Yep.
What's he put? Oh, well, what did he put? Maxwell. Oh, Jesus Christ! That would be something. I'm like, great, fantastic. We're in the TV show now. Jesus, that TV show. How is that still a thing? How is that still a thing? Like, honestly, I just, yeah. I haven't really enjoyed anything in this series since Rosie 4's Steph's story. Like, that was really enjoyable. Rosie 4 was fantastic in that story. And obviously Katie Benz was great in the audiobook. But like since then, it has like really been like, I'm like, man's hungry here. We host a podcast here. We would like good content here. Like, we need something refreshing, please. I don't want to be sitting here negative. I'm trying to be optimistic here with things, but like you saw what happened there, and KGL just joked about Max Caulfield will return. I dream about that sequence, that black credit. And when someone told me about that, I was like, oh dear Lord. By the way, I told Adam about that. We found out about that before the game came out, and we were like, I was like, no. And it was like, yeah, it actually ends with Max Caulfield will return. I was like, well, I don't know if I can take you serious right now. And it's like, it happened. And I was like, oh. I was like, dear Lord. And it's like, it happened. And it's there. And it leaked as well. Someone leaked it before, and I was like, looked at it, I was like, oh dear Lord, it's actually a thing. Sweet baby Jesus. It's like, God help us. Yeah, so there's that. I think we're going to call it a wrap. Yeah, what? I think we're going to call it a wrap soon, Abby, because I think we're getting late. But
we're just getting
we will keep. Yes. What did you say? Sorry, was it Boulder? Did you say?
Yeah. He said how to spoil the first 5 minutes of Twin Peaks. Sorry, y'all. It came out like 30 something years ago.
Which is my plan to watch that show this coming month in August. It's my dedicated show that I'm going to watch it. I'm very excited to watch it because like I'm currently obviously trying to tackle the Victoria Diamond interview, which is sending me a little bit because it's like long, and I'm still in the editing process. That should come this week at some. Basically, if you're listening as well, catch you up. We've recorded the Patreon Strangecast episodes. I need to edit some of those. I need to take 1 or 2 segments out of it. KGL, I'm not answering those questions because I'm not giving you any ammunition here. KGL was like, hey, do you want to interview Hannah Tal in the future? I was like, and you see our face try to answer this question. I'm like, yeah, let's see how. And it's like, right, okay. And then also it's like, what's the future of the Life is Strange series? Those 2 questions are getting cut, even though ironically they pretty much predicted what happened with Webb and stuff. And I'm not mentioning those more than that. So I've got those 2 episodes. They are going to be changed. So if you're watching this as well, those are going to be later episodes. So I'm going to sit down with Adam this weekend. We're going to be recording Strange Cast. And basically those 2 Patreon episodes will come later this month, and they'll be just basically, they're non-time sensitive, essentially. I think because KJL and Kevin Kestis asked a lot of questions in there. So they're not like that kind of thing. So they're going to be moved out. What's that?
Said which we appreciate. We really like when the chat is on fire.
of course, it's amazing. It helps keep the vibes alive. I like that this channel
Yeah.
exists and it just keeps people a little bit of enjoyment. There's a Life is Strange, a little chamber that we can all enjoy together. So that podcast has been moved out. Obviously, me and Adam will record on the weekend. That's going to be the priority of Strangecast in terms of Webb's layoff and also the Life Strange other bits that have happened that have been announced. Victoria Diamond's interview is coming this week. The plan was to drop it tomorrow. It's not going to happen now. I've not even finished the editing process, and that's taking time. If you're wondering, it's taking time because I'm cutting things out of it that I need to cut out, and then also I'm cutting out a lot of the pauses, and that really drags the time on interviewing and like the process. And I've literally spent the last 3 weeks, generally the last 3 weeks, burnt out, and I hit the peak burnout. I've just come out of it, and now I'm kind of like getting my feet on the ground. Now I'm trying to move forward with it. So that interview's coming this week. It will come up it will probably come Saturday or Sunday, one of the 2 days. And then from there, I'll kind of get things back on roll. And then Andrea Carter's interview will come in August. I really enjoyed the Andrea Carter interview as well. There is a spoiler I'm going to say here as well, because she was trying not to cry during it, and she did as well. She cried in it as well, and I was like,
"No, did you make her cry?"
Not personally, but it was very emotional though. It was heading there. I could see as well, like she kept moving, and she was like, because obviously like it was a lot of linked to like the baby and then also autumn and stuff like that. And then towards the end, yeah, and it hit hard as well with that. And I was like, oh god, I was like, yeah, I felt it as well. I loved her. She's an absolute, oh my god, she's so cool. She's so cool, Abby. Yeah, they're both great. I think like if you watch the Victoria Diamond interview is very different from anything I've done, and maybe I'll reveal it later on what I was doing there, because it's very interesting. Because Victoria Diamond hasn't really done interviews. She doesn't really do interviews, and she's constantly like a busybody kind of person in terms of like constantly doing different things. And I take a big backseat in that, and I let her talk. And one thing you'll notice as well, she becomes more open about talking about a lot of things when you do it, because you do a kind of thing where you start becoming familiar with someone, you kind of want to talk your narrative, and I think it yields a very interesting result. And I think for me personally, I think it yields one of the best results I've ever seen, because funnily enough in the podcast, she's like, we could talk for 5 hours on a podcast if we had the time, and I only had her for an hour at first. I think the podcast is about an hour and 15 minutes, give or take. And then afterwards, me and Victoria spoke for about an hour and a half about her life and other things as well. Because there's one thing that she admits at the end of the podcast, which is, again, a little bit of a heart wrencher. And it was like, I was really crying at one point. I was like, can we know? And she like reveals it. And I'm like, that's hard.
Was that off the record?
What with what she? No, it wasn't off the record.
Oh, okay.
It was in the question. So it's Kevin's question that he asked about what would throw in the abyss, which is one of my questions anyway, I usually ask. And if you're watching, Kevin, I have kind of modified that question because Victoria was jumping all over the place, because she's like, is the abyss good? Is it bad? Is it good? And I was like, how about we do the Bloom and Rage box instead? I was like, what would you put into the box? And it's what she puts into the box is like, and there's a lot of things you'll learn about. Oh my god. As I said, when you watch it, you'll find it fascinating. She's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I genuinely hope she becomes like a mega star in the video game industry. She's so talented for it. Like really, really freaking talented for it. And I adore her as well. I absolutely could talk to her for like 5 or 6 hours, which is amazing, like just as a human being. So yeah, very excited to share those when and where they can happen. So that's the main one. So let's have a quick look in here. Hang on a minute. Any questions? Blue Jays put, Abby, no, not Rachel Amber. I'm scared to see you in a body bag in the TV show. There you go. And you know what as well, Blue Jay? It's going to be me and Adam putting the grave in there as well. That's going to be it. It's going to be like Jefferson style. It's going to be Jefferson style. Yeah, so like Abby's going to be Rachel Amber. She's going to be buried. And it's going to be Max on the floor like this, like groggy, like, and the next minute it's going to be my face coming up Jefferson style. And then next minute, Adam's going to come behind me and be like next to me. And it's like, plot twist. And it's like, there you go. There's 2 of us. And just that's what's happening. This is the
Yowzers or whatever she says.
Yeah.
Yowzers.
Oh, damn. Yeah, so that's going to be the twist of that. And that episode recently turned 10 years old as well last month, because we're now in the 1st of August for me, which is crazy. So Grant, I'm going to put GR1 mess put. Steph's story was incredible. It was written so well, but the end was a little weird in my opinion. Yeah, it was. Yeah. There were 1 or 2 things that were a bit interesting with it, but I think like genuinely on the surface of things, Rosalie Ford did a really good job with that. Compared to Heat Waves, the audiobook was great on that from Erica Mori, the book, was a lot to be desired, in my opinion. We got Kim Plausibles in here. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Max Caulfield has been cast as Doctor Doom. Oh my dear lord. The villains have arrived to forge against the Avengers. Oh god, that Avengers style theme. Oh my god. It's just... why do we have to have that game, man? But I will be more interested by a Lost Records TV show. That would be a great TV show. Do you know what? That TV show is better than Life is Strange TV show, because
Agreed.
I haven't even watched it, and Adam said it as well. It's like that show is more similar to Twin Peaks than like Life is Strange is, and it borrows a lot. It's like life. It's like Twin Peaks meets Stranger Things, Yellow Jackets. It has all those like different vibes and influences in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people would eat it. I would eat that show up as like a TV show in the 90s. Like anything in the 90s, I'd eat up at this point. KJ report the Max Caulfield, the time stone. Oh Jesus Christ, I'm making jokes about it now. At Boulder After the Abyss video, absolutely yes. Twin Peaks is fascinating, right? Yeah, I can't wait to watch it. I'm looking forward to it. I do want to get into Michelle's mind. At Dog Party, yeah, she'll look great as Cassidy in Life is Strange season 2. Baldo, Abby should be in every podcast. Winky face. Well, Baldo, this is the problem with Abby as well, because we have to chase her down usually to like get this podcast done. So it's not like it's not out of a choice. I'm already chasing her amid her desired love life and Raya.
I'm here to be a yes man to Adnan because he's the homie.
Exactly, but she's like just busy usually. It's like she's either doing this or she's on Raya finding some like other person. Then I'm like hearing about her love life, and I'm like, this is interesting. I'm like, how is this again not a Netflix TV show? Like this is prime real estate for like on like a little corner of the finger market of being like, yes, there we go. The
so
hopeless romance.
It just wouldn't be interesting.
I know it would be, from the story that I hear, it's very interesting. So I hear that all the time. Dog Pie, hashtag Abby for Cassidy 2025. Hey, there you go. Got an Abby Cassidy vibe there. KJ, we enjoy your work and see how hard you work to keep Life is Strange alive, Adnan. Well, that's nice of you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you for that. Even though sometimes. Bulldog, great podcast with great hosts and great interviews. Thank you for that. Kevin's put, I'm glad you're interviewing the cast. I'm also as well. I can't wait for that. Bulldog's put, I can't wait for the next interviews, Dylan and Autumn. Yeah, they're really interesting. The interviews are really interesting for me because at least from my perspective, we had like some really like some annoying comment. I showed Adam as well, and I just put like responses to it. Like they were criticizing the interview that we're doing with Olivia Lepore. Like it's a one anomaly interview. And they're like, why are these two people talking over her and saying stuff, and why they're doing this? I'm like, you've like when you show me your interview style, then that's fine, because it's like every interview is unique, every interview is different, every interview approach is different. Like I don't really do the interview approach until the first 10 minutes when I've spoken to the actor, because they are very different. Because I think if you remember Abby as well, even with Amelia was like, I don't have the Olivia Lepore energy vibe kind of thing. And it's like, you don't have to, because you're very like a philosophical actor, that kind of vibe. And it's like, that's interesting. And it's like any other actor you see that we've done, like whether it's Erica Mori, Hannah Tell, Katie Bentz, Diane Hutton, all different vibes from different people. And even like Nick Apostolidis, they're all different. So it's like, you'll get a different vibe from each person. So it's like, even with Victoria Diamond, you'll see like, vibe is very, very different in so many ways. It's like sometimes it's like Olivia, sometimes it's like Amelia, sometimes it's like a different, like a cross blend of things. Like she's like sometimes very open, and sometimes she's a little bit like coy. She's very deeply philosophical about things as well, like the way she does it. And the interview is done that way as well, because she's very much telling it from her perspective of Dylan. And then Andrea Carter is literally a wall of energy. So it's like when you see that as well, you'll see like she's just like there. And you can see when Amelia said to us in that interview where she's like, Andrea was in the interview, she was like, rah, she just like went for it. It's like, yeah, she's exactly like that. When I spoke to her, she's like literally like that. She's just a ball of energy, and it's like, yeah, I can vibe that. But again, it's very different. Like the interviews always yield different results, and you have to approach it differently. Have I done some bad interviews? I think so in my past time. But it's like, that's just because it's a natural process. Sometimes you vibe with the actors, sometimes you don't. And I take a very different approach of it, because I try not to make it too catchy and personal, like conversational. I try and get questions and yield results. And usually with the actors as well, I will tell them being like, I'm going to give you a very loose question here for interpretation, and feel free to speak, and don't think you're sitting there droning on because I'm doing it on purpose, because one thing that's going to happen in my mind, at least, whilst you're quote unquote droning on, you're going to pull out a memory. And when you pull out the memory, that's going to be the thing that you're like, oh, that was an amazing moment. And it's like, there we go. And it happens with in the Victoria interview. Victoria does it a couple of times where she's like, oh, that's actually something. And she admits this admission. It's like that admission. It's like perfect. So again, I'm looking forward to dropping those interviews, and hopefully maybe one more in the future we can get if they are down for that. What other questions we got in here? What's that?
Michelle Cook next.
Where is Michelle? People, the chat.
Tag him.
Why? Yeah, people
tag him. Maybe he'll come.
Like this is the thing. Like Luke Bargaros, Michelle Coe. Like where are these people? Like Michelle needs to be Adam. People, like have you seen Adam? Yeah. Like Adam Evil meeting Michelle is going to be like Nora meeting Swan. It's going to be that kind of energy. This is the podcast we need. I don't even want to. I would love to interview Michelle on my own, but I want Adam Evil to be in the room interviewing Michelle Coe as well, because that's going to be the vibe as well. And it's going to be like so. It's going to be so great. Yes, that would be a great interview. I would love to do an interview. I would genuinely. I have some really interesting questions I'd ask them. I think that the interview questions they get, and this is where I become really obnoxious. I don't think the interview questions are that good for it, because I think like for me, I would be looking at more auteur style of like Michelle, because I want to see it from that perspective where it's like he has a very refined style. So if I like, for me, it's weird for me that no one has asked him like, how has your experience been like as a solo director? Your resume, his work is built on 2 co-directing projects with Raoul Barbet. It's like you're now the sole director. And it's like, where are the questions about like David Lynch in a certain style and vein? Like I've seen some questions about David Lynch, but it's like a bit more character specific, a bit more kind of like story specific and lacing in something. I like, for me, I'd love to ask him about Autumn, because like that's the one character which is very different from Michelle. I'd love to know the writing process with that, because he's very much obviously Swan related, but Autumn is such a different character in terms of the personality and vibe and stuff like that. And it's like, how do you write those characters? Yeah, I'd love to interview them. And as well, Luke Bagados as well. The band needs to be brought together. And I'd love to speak to Luke as well. I've known Luke for 10 years and never spoken to him. And it's like, we need to like get that interaction done. That would be the one for me. Yes, tag them. Tell them to come on. Lost Records journals are always available to them as well. We've always had that open invitation to them. Well, we've got here as well. Dog Party as well. Life Studios. But Luke, Michelle, Marin, when you read this, get on it. Exactly. We got Marin on there as well. Like Marin, get on. Tell us what Michelle is listening to in his Spotify playlist. We don't know. We haven't seen anything recently. Which is that. And then where else are we up to now? Lorraine put a hell yeah David Lynch question. See, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'd love to ask him questions about like David Lynch, but like more in a personal sense of like the actual influence, and even Sam Lake as well. I'd love to know if he like has like, if like Sam Lake has like bled into his style, and it's like he's now doing things which are like David Lynch, Stephen King, X Sam Lake thing. I'd even like to know, for example, if this is more David Lynch inspired or Stephen King inspired Lost Records. I think there's an interesting question to be there, because I think he's got 2 major influences. And that's just from the surface value. Michelle has loads of influences. So we're going to wrap up soon here.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's any more questions. Throw your last questions in, guys, or anything else with it. And again, thank you for being here as well. If you have just joined and you've been here as well, I do like the video as well. It does really help support the channel. We have a very small channel. And I will put the VOD versions up in the near future. Once the Victoria Diamond interview is done, hopefully I can kind of move very fast to turn over the podcast episodes. It's just that is holding me up, because I'm really trying to edit it and get it refined. And that's that. I do you know what as well? One of the things that really put me off in a kind of admission was that when I did the Olivia Abiassi interview, the reception to that was very lukewarm, and it really put me off from doing more of the Life is Strange interviews with the double exposure actors, which is a shame. Because like I think like because I think people couldn't for me I think people couldn't detach the character from the actor, and I think I felt really bad for it, because I think like Olivia Abiassi does a really good job as Safi. In terms of like, let's get away from obviously the problems with Safi. Safi has big problems and stuff, but that's out of Olivia's control. But I think Olivia as an actor is a very interesting personality and a person, and she's got a very interesting style and approach. And I felt it was a really interesting interview, but it just never really, did more than that. It was just kind of like it had such a souring reputation. It was like, And even with the Back of Shine interview, I had to like lace it, being like, in the comments saying like, this guy didn't do any of the stuff that you think that he did. And it's like, you should go and listen to it. And a lot of people really listened to it. It was like, this is a great guy. And it's like, yeah, it's a fantastic guy. And there's a lot of people like him. Again, like Webb Pickersgill, who's now just been laid off from Deck 9. And whilst there were a lot of people who overtook the kind of the development process and overshadowed things, it's like, not everyone was like at fault for this. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame of that. So, but yeah, it is interesting, the experience talking to actors. I find it interesting speaking to certain actors. I think Melia was a very interesting interview for us to do. She's a very, very like deep actor with a lot of acting knowledge. And funnily enough as well, when she talked about clown acting as well, and she's like, there's a clown technique. Victoria Diamond said the same thing early in the interview. She was like, I did clown acting.
I wonder if that's in Canada.
It must be, because obviously like but I mean, like, obviously like Maury and Stace and people who are like with the Butterfly Effect Colorado ensemble there with the theater scene Denver, they do a lot of Meisner. Zach Andrews, obviously the performance director now at Deck 9, he's a Meisner student, like he knows Meisner, and it's like they all very familiar with that. So it's like you have a certain technique that certain comes in certain places. So it feels like the clown technique does seem like a Canada thing. When she said it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, that's an interesting way of approaching something.
We have one more question here too.
Yes.
What do you think will come first? The Next Life is Strange or the next Lost Records? I say the Next Life is Strange. I think they're already and dusted with that.
Yeah, no, it has to be, because like the M2 project of Montreal is there, but that pipeline is long away. Like that game will see the light. Was it 4 years for the development circle of Lost Records? The next game will be 3 years when they get to it.
Think it's sooner. I think they're going to announce it like within the upcoming months.
You reckon?
Yep.
What, Lost Records?
No, Life is Strange.
Oh no, I was talking about Lost Records.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, the Lost Records will probably be like 2027, I would say, like likelihood maybe we'll push 2028, but like I think 2027 seems more realistic at this point. Life is Strange. Well, yeah, it would be very interesting because the approach is different, because obviously Life is Strange is usually announced in a year and it's released in that year, and if they announce it at the end of the year, they're going to bleed into 2026, and then you have to do the marketing campaign, etc. And yeah, God help you. Well, I 100% expect it to be announced. I'm in literally in that two positions where I'm in the position that I'm like 90% / 95% convinced it's going to be announced very soon and it's going to be out there in its state as it is, or secondly, it's going to get cancelled and just get on the shelf. And I can't really rule out that possibility. No, not really, but nothing can ever happen. I've seen a lot of projects just get shipped off and then it's like done. Even when at the completion stage, it's like we're done here. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, that's my time at the moment. So yes, and is there anything else in here? I'm just quickly have a look here. Michelle and Jean-Luc did a 2-hour interview in French a few weeks ago in stream and even answered some of my questions. Very nice. Yeah, I saw that stream. Unfortunately, I couldn't speak French. There was no translation. I was like, great. It's like that one time in my school years when I stopped learning French, I was like, never thought I'd be following a French studio of all things. I'd be like, right.
Waldo is transcribing, he said, or translating.
Oh, lovely. Look forward to that. Please do share when you do. We are very much up for that. Let's have a look there. Any other questions? No, I don't think so. Yeah, so I think we can wrap up here because we're at 2-hour point as well. So that will be done here. Obviously, a lot of things have happened, and it was great seeing Webb in here as well. I adore that man. Yeah. And I wish him nothing but the best. But what an unfortunate. I hate the fact that the first 2 live stream episodes of this podcast have been built on Don't Know Montreal's layoffs and Webb's layoff. I'm like, great. I'm like, what else could possibly happen next? That makes it even the kind of trend continuing. But as you will. So I think we're done here. Thank you for joining us. Again, these will be released as VOD versions in the near future. I'll get some at some point. So bear with me. This live stream version will be in the archives, so you can check out on YouTube if you do want to. But yeah, we're done here. And my voice is going because I've been talking.
We're done here.
Now.
Yeah, it was really fun like everyone though.
It was. I think that's why we try and do the live stream podcast, because we want to kind of talk with people.
Yeah.
That interact with you guys and add like some layered thing to the show as well. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you for joining us as well. If you are in the chat and if you are new here and you're still watching the live, the live replay, please do consider dropping a like the video, share your friends, subscribe. We're just crossed 2,000 subscribers. We're on the way to 2,100 subscribers. So if you subscribe, that is amazing. It helps support the channel, helps grow it as well. We're also on social media, so go and check us out on all the social media platforms. You can go and follow us and see all the content, all the latest updates. I'm pretty sure you get all the updates from there as much as humanly possible. And also as well, this podcast is here on YouTube. It will come to RSS feeds at some point in the near future when I can find some time and get a logo designed. And there's a million things through my mind at the minute. Strangecast as well on the channel, on the podcast services. It's available. Lost Records Journal is available on there as well. And one last time as well, again, structure has changed. The next episode, which was going to be the Patreon episode, is going to be delayed. That is going to be the one after. Me and Adam are going to record on the weekend. We're going to record the Strangecast, and that will be the next episode of that. Victoria Diamond's interview is coming this week. Stay tuned for that. I am sorry. I'm trying my best to get that edited, but just like it's a long process. And I've literally just got into, honestly, I just, do you know what as well? And I haven't mentioned this. My week has been all over the place as well this week because basically when I cover my matches for football, Manchester United are currently playing in the United States. So for example, I've basically been running on this day for about 3 hours of sleep because I was up at 2:30 in the morning covering the match from 2:30 till 5:30. And I slept for a couple of hours afterwards. So it's literally been like non-stop at the moment. So bear with me whilst I get out of August window, this late July, early August period. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Usually this is a monthly episode. I will try and grab Abby later this month if she is free, and we'll try and do another one for you guys. Obviously follow her on Instagram. You can follow her love life and her episodic, like her massive drama things. If you want to know about her love life, mention it in the next podcast episode. We'll talk about it because she's got like loads of tea there and it's great as well. She like puts it on herself. She's like, I'm the problem. I'm like, no, you're not. And she's like, I'm the problem. I'm like, no, you're not. It's like you're in a pool of a lot of interesting people. It's just not your fault. But anyway, we're done here, guys. Thank you so much for that, and it's great interacting with you and seeing you in here. And yeah, thank you to Life Studio, Kevin Kester, Dog Party, Let It Rain, Boldo, everyone in here. Thank you so much for that, and it was amazing to talk to you. So bear with us. We'll be back soon with more content, and obviously, again, we'll try and do this later this month, hopefully. But yeah, until next time. See you later, guys.